What is up, guys? Got a review for all of you today, and we're going to be taking a look at a knife in this pouch right here. This is TNK True North Knives. If you guys know True North Knives, they're an online website that sells a lot of really cool custom knives. If you just want to look at some knife porn, definitely go on their website. They have a lot of really cool designs. Stuff that I'll probably never be able to afford, but you know how it goes in the knife world. You just got to be happy for what you have. So let's open up this pouch. This is a custom, and this is the only custom I own. And this is an Elson Dreadlock Lite. So let me start with a little background on the maker. Elson is a Canadian knife maker. You can see here on the blade, it says Elson, Canada. And I don't know if you can see that, but he's a pretty young guy. Maybe a couple years older than me, but even though he's relatively new, I guess, in the knife world, he has a lot of really cool designs. If you check out a lot of the custom knife websites, you'll see a lot of his designs. His style is reminiscent of Strider, but with a little bit of his own twist. His work is constantly improving and getting better, but you know, at this point his folders are absolutely phenomenal already. And this is his Dreadlock Lite model. I've had this for about maybe 3 years at this point. So I've had this for a while, but I don't use it super often. It's more of a safe clean for me. But that's only because it's a little bit larger than I like to carry on a daily basis. So that's that. But let's get on to a review of the knife itself. This is a pretty large folder. I'd call it large. I consider the S&G a medium folder, and you can see it really is quite a bit larger than the S&G here. If we start with the blade, we got about 3 3/4 inches of CPM 154. As usual, specs will be in the description, but it's a really nice blade shape. It's sort of a combination of a drop point, but this is a reverse tanto actually, and a decent amount of belly down here. It's kind of reminiscent of a spear point in general profile, but that reverse tanto does give it a little bit of a uniqueness. I don't really see too many grinds like this. This one is a hollow grind, so it cuts pretty well. Pretty thin edge. It's not ridiculously thick for you would expect an overbuilt knife to be, but it is quite nice. Really interesting grind. Especially for the swedge up there, you know. I haven't really seen that grind like this on a knife, so just the angles that he does it at are pretty unique. I've never really seen that. Finish on the blade is sort of interesting. I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of a mix between a stonewash and a bead blast. I've heard people describe it as trash can or polished trash can. That's not really the nicest way to say it, but it's kind of reminiscent of Sabenzas. If you have a Sabenza whose handle gets pocket worn, both the blade and the titanium frame look like that on this knife. So I think it's a really nice looking finish. It's sort of a pre-worn rustic finish combined with the texture on the G10, which I'll talk about in a bit. Looks like it's kind of a little more rustic, modern, tactical, but not afraid of being used as a user. So nice blade. Thumb studs are different on both sides, but they both have these little ridges. I do believe you can take them out with a Torx screw, but I haven't tried that. And honestly, I don't think that end out too well because it is this knife does use the thumb studs as the blade stop. There is no stop pin. If we got into the handle, we got a large handle of orange G10, and this is his own texture called Death Grip. If I had to describe it, it looks kind of like a landscape. Got a lot of ridges, valleys, you know, looks like a map on here, but really unique finish. I don't know how he did this texturing, but it's pretty effective. It's not as effective as like normal checker G10 in my opinion, but it's better than smoothed out G10. And it gives the knife a little bit of character that you don't see too often, really. Pretty cool design. got really sharp jimping all over the place. I think it's a little too sharp for me. And it's really kind of dramatic jimping. But it does work. It will lock in your hand, but it just might not be too comfortable when you're using it an extended period, just because it is kind of pointy. But the jimping does work, and it's on the knife down here and up here. If we go on to the frame side, you can see we have a titanium frame, and it is a titanium frame lock. I'll talk about the frame lock construction in a bit, but you can see it's not really that thick. It's kind of the thickness of a above average liner lock, so while it is plenty strong, it's not quite as thick as a normal frame lock, and that's because he decided to put this orange G10 protector on here, which is interesting. This is actually bolted to this part of the titanium frame, not the lock bar that separates. And you can see this is all from one piece of titanium that has been cut here. And the orange G10 serves two purposes. One, as a lock protector, so you can't hyperextend the lock past the frame this way. But also for extra grip. The little bit of extra G10 is a really nice touch. It doesn't add to the thickness, but where your hand is, especially in the left-hand grip, but also right-hand grip, where your fingers are, adds a little bit of grip, so helps you keep a nice, good, firm hold on the knife. Construction is really thick pillars. This is a strong knife. No liners, so it is not too heavy, but got these large torque screws keeping it together. The pivot I did have to play with. I'm not sure how it'll be like on his newer dreadlocks, but I had to play with it a little bit. It came really, really, really tight. But it was after... It took me a while to find the right perfect spot on the pivot. And for me, it's not a huge deal to me whether or not a knife has side-to-side play. I know it is to a lot of other people. But I feel like I made this one a little bit loose, so there is a tiny bit of play, but you can easily tighten it up so that there's no play in any direction. The only problem is it might not be as easy to open as you wanted. The clip's pretty cool. It's sort of a split metal clip, and it does work well. Only problem is a little bit over the textured G10, which is kind of unfortunate, but sadly you can't move the clip anywhere else either, but it is removable. Overall, this Elson Dreadlock Lite is a phenomenal knife. Fit and finish is not perfect. Eric is, I think he does a lot more parts by hand than other makers. But you can see, this G10, for example, doesn't perfectly line up with the TI on this side. Aside from that, there's a few gaps in a couple places, but honestly, it's a really well-made folder, and it's designed to be a user, so even that doesn't really bother me too much. Anyways, that's the Elson Dreadlock Lite. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Elson's a really nice up-and-coming maker, and his stuff will surely improve and also, increase in variety as time goes by. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. That's all for now, and I'll see you later. Peace.